David Menzies for Rebel News here at Scotiabank's headquarters in downtown Toronto. And we have a bizarre sidebar story to bring you regarding the vandalism of that synagogue in North Toronto. I speak of the Kalilat Shaarei Torah Temple in North Toronto. It was recently vandalized for the 10th time, yes, 10th time in just 18 months. So what does that have to do with Scotiabank? Well, you won't believe this. There is a gentleman that works here by the name of Rayan Malak. He is the Senior Credit Structuring Manager with Scotiabank. And guess what? This man is obsessed with denialism and Jew hatred. And yes, we have the proof in his own words taken from social media postings. For example, that Toronto synagogue I mentioned that's been vandalized 10 times in 18 months, he says it's a false flag done by Jews and that they, quote, play victim all the time, end quote. Malak also believes that there is a, quote, Jewish lobby that makes you wonder who really runs things, end quote. Malak also states that Jews complain about, quote, how shitty they are, end quote. Oh, it just goes on. And here is something that tells you how much of a reprobate this guy is. Here's what he said in a post referencing a Holocaust survivor meeting the mother of a hostage from the October 7th, 2023 massacre in Israel. He said, quote, Jewish propaganda is unmatched, end quote. It's unbelievable. Malak also goes on to state all kinds of crackpot conspiracy theories regarding so-called Jewish privilege, the action of classic Jews, his words, in terms of the war in the Middle East, and, quote, Jews meddling in other countries' elections, end quote. It just goes on and on. But as odious as those statements are, here's where I think Malak crosses the line. It's his desire that meteors fall on Israel, killing its civilian population. And he also goes on to celebrate the October 7th massacre, which of course killed more Jews in one day than any other day since the Holocaust. This is just incredible. And what's really disturbing, folks, these weren't private postings uncovered. No, Mr. Malak was putting these postings out on social media for the entire world to see. Now, the other interesting thing, especially when it comes to Scotiabank, is the double standard this corporation seems to adhere to when it comes to so-called offensive speech. For example, a few years ago, you might recall my interview with Gary Duke of Grand Prairie, Alberta. He was actually debanked by his local Scotiabank. And what did Gary do? Well, he asked if it was possible to remove the rainbow icon from his Scotiabank phone app. And in the name of inclusivity, Gary was excluded from ever doing business with Scotiabank again. He had to move all his accounts to another lending institution. And then you might remember Toronto senior citizen Jane. She does not want to give her last name. She's worried about getting more reprisals from other banks. But she was debanked from a downtown Toronto Scotiabank a couple of years back too. Why? Well, she saw all the inclusion propaganda at her local branch, and she suggested, why not expand your inclusion acceptance to include senior citizens? And I don't know, evidently that offended some transgender or something. And this senior citizen, again, was shown the door. And let us never forget, folks, how in February of 2022, Scotiabank, along with all the other big banks, debanked Canadians who committed the egregious sin of donating to the Freedom Convoy. It was unbelievable. It was reprehensible. So I'm really scratching my head here. Why is there one standard for those who complain about Scotiabank's DEI propaganda, those who contribute to the truckers, and yet there's another standard for someone who is a horrible anti-Semite. Now, we did reach out to Mr. Malak by phone and email, and to date, we have received no response. We did go into the bank to speak to Mr. Malak. Apparently, he's not there. We've reached out to media relations. This bank, as you can imagine, has an entire media relations team. They don't even acknowledge our request for comment. And when we talked to security, well, we were told, sorry, nobody's home. Here, check it out. I'm here to see either one of two people. The first fellow is Rayan Malak, and he is the senior credit structuring manager.
For what address are you supposed to be at?
I think it's here. I think it's head office.
40 Temperance?
Yes.
Do you have an appointment?
I do not. The other person is Claire Dawson. She's with media relations there.
Ooh, you may be at the wrong location. My colleague here
Oh,
gets you
sure.
direct.
Thank you, sir. And the surname is Malak, Malak. Yeah, if we're in the wrong place, we'll just go to the right place.
Well, most likely you got to walk to.
Oh, is that right? This is the head office, though, isn't it? Or?
He'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so how do you like that, folks? This tower, 34 stories, and there's nobody in the bank. There is nobody in media relations. And by the way, I think this says something about how reviled our banks are. I couldn't help but notice that little additional gateway to the elevator banks that reach up to the executive offices of Scotiabank. It is a card entry. You just can't get on the elevator. There's security guards, and there is a special card lock that opens the individual gates for you to go into the Scotiabank. So, hey folks, as we were just wrapping our report, a friendly Scotiabank employee came out, asked us what we were reporting on, and he told us that where we were is the North Tower. I guess Scotiabank is so big they have multiple towers, so a couple of football fields away, here is another tower. That looks to be about 70 stories, I would say. So while we're downtown, let's make a house call, see if anyone in media relations or Mr. Malak can come on camera and give us their side of the story. Hey, how you doing there?
Good. So unfortunately, we don't allow any filming in
Oh,
our building.
okay. I'm here to speak to somebody in media relations. I've reached out to Claire Dawson, sir, and I haven't had my email acknowledged.
I could give you an email to reply to.
Oh, no, I've already got her email, but it's regarding this employee, Rayan Malak, who's been basically spouting anti-Semitism online. And would he be working in this tower?
No comment at this time, brother. Sorry.
Okay, you can't even tell me if he works here?
Nah,
'Cause
I can't comment on that.
okay, how about yourself, sir?
I couldn't tell you either.
Okay, we're not here to cause you trouble. We're just here to get their side of the story, right? Because we've got screen captures of his social media postings. They're very vile. And, you know, this bank, it has debanked Canadian citizens for, making a comment about the DEI policies, right? It debanked Canadians for giving to the trucker convoy in 2022. So how does someone spouting vile anti-Semitism, why is he even part of this organization?
Unfortunately, you'd have to reach out to our media relations team. I'm not allowed to comment on that.
You know what? I totally agree, but why does Scotiabank have a media relations team? Yeah, thank you, sir. Why does Scotiabank have a media relations team if they don't relate to the media?
Again, when you reach out to our media relations team, I'm sure they'll get back to you in a timely manner.
They don't. And it's not just been this story, sir. It's been several. So, But I find it amazing. Were you sent out here just to intercept us?
Well, I saw the camera equipment. Just happened to be passing by.
Okay, then.
And again, like I said, we don't allow filming.
Okay, so what? We'll sit here outside. Can you ask if Mr. Malak can come outside and talk to us?
Again, you'll have to reach out to our media department.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And unfortunately, you are allowed to film on the sidewalk, but this is property of Scotia Plaza.
Okay. Well, we'll make our way then. I'll tell you what. Can I give you my card? And if you can reach out to the Media Relations Department or Mr. Malak, I'm more than happy to hear. All my coordinates are there, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. Bye-bye. So we'll just observe in the days ahead if this bank, which is so gung-ho when it comes to debanking those with offensive opinions, if they're going to do anything about this anti-Semite. Because you see, you utter a word that goes against the woke agenda of Scotiabank, you are showing the door, but you deny the Holocaust, you advocate for genocide, and you work for the bank, guess what? You get a promotion. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I don't know about you, but after hearing calls for genocide for the past 2 years in Toronto and in so many other cities, are you fed up with it? And a lot of this vile rhetoric is coming from those who aren't even Canadian citizens. They're international students, they're temporary foreign workers. If you're coming to our country as a guest and advocating for genocide, guess what? You must go. Please go to our website, deporthamas.com. That's deporthamas.com. And if you feel like we do, put your name to that petition and tell these haters, if you don't live here, it's time for you to pack your bags and go.